With a grand vision of one day becoming the first Manitoban production on Broadway, Ma-Buhay, a new musical, hits Winnipeg's Rainbow Stage on June 27th. The production features an entire Filipino cast and explores identity, culture, community, and family as three young Filipinos compete in the grand finale of a prestigious singing competition. Join us as we find out more from director and creator Joseph Sevillo. Let's get into it.
Hi, everybody. My name is Joseph Sevillo, and I am the director and the creator of Ma-Buhay, the new musical, which means that I've written the whole script and I've written lyrics and composed the songs to the show.
So, Joseph, where was the inspiration for this project? Have you always wanted to create a musical, or is there a moment in your life that you're like, yes, this is something I'm passionate about and I want to bring it to Rainbow Stage or a stage?
Well, you know what? It was a passion that came later on in my life. I've been a professional musical theater performer, singer, dancer, and actor for over 27 years now. And it wasn't until 2011 when I was part of another all-Filipino musical in Toronto called Prison Dancer that I had my aha moment that I wanted to push myself to create work just like that, representing our culture. And so my inspiration was that musical, and knowing that living in Winnipeg, we have the highest population of Filipinx per capita in this city. And I really wanted to create a musical that was featuring the best of the Filipino community here in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
It's always exciting to see how the Filipino community is growing here in Winnipeg. There's a Mennonite and Filipino sitcom, Maria and the Menos, I think it's called, coming up.
Well, I was in that.
Really? Oh, that's so exciting.
Yes. I played Maria's older brother, Angelo. So Maria, the actor who plays Maria, is actually in our cast here in Ma-Buhay as well, and she is our dance captain.
Wow,
for our show.
Small world.
Very small world, yes.
That it's just another element of showing how things are growing here at the Taste of Asia food festival just a couple weeks back. How many different Filipino vendors and restaurants and food trucks that were there. It's just exciting to see how the Filipino community is booming here in Manitoba.
Absolutely. As you know, we are known to be a foodie city here in Winnipeg, and I think the Filipinos definitely have a lot to contribute to that as well.
Coming back to Ma-Buhay, a new musical, you've got a full Filipino cast. It's so exciting, and of course, Ma-Buhay, the welcome, this greeting is very Filipino. But what other elements of this play and musical do you feel are exclusively this is what it means to be Filipino?
Well, it's essentially designed musically. If someone asked the genre of the music, it ranges from music from the pop genre to classical music to folk to hip hop, all the way to OPM, which is original Filipino music with subtitles for people that are non-Filipino. And what this musical means is that it's the first time in Rainbow Stage's 70th history that they've had an all-Filipino cast and creative team, and what it means is that the stage is going to be transformed into something that they've never seen before. It actually is also not only is it part of their 70th anniversary, it's their 150th show that they've ever done. And so it's set in a reality live TV singing contest, and as Filipinos, we sing in competitions just like a sport. We like to sing to win these big cash prizes.
Oh yeah, so I've seen the karaoke nights.
Exactly. They take it very seriously. So I wanted to really feature that and highlight that aspect of the Filipino culture, that they encourage us to be nurses and doctors and lawyers. But if you can sing really well in your family, more often than not, they will encourage that for you as a career in hopes that you'll be, they call it sikat in Philippines, which means to be discovered. So, yeah.
So is this your first kind of musical production, or have you created something like this before?
No, this is my very first attempt at writing a musical script and score. I wanted to really prove to those people that have barriers that, I grew up in a poor family. We didn't have access to university or anything like that. I came from 6 kids, and when my parents immigrated here, they had to start from scratch, and we just didn't have that access. So I've been kind of fighting for my opportunities my whole life. And so instead of using that as a deterrent to pursuing my goals, I wanted to be a person that can say that if there is a will, there definitely is a way. And I might not have the conventional kind of training or education to be doing what I'm doing, but I figured it out and here we are.
What are some of the challenges that you've experienced? Because, taking on a new project, there's always going to be things that you're learning about, tripping over, being like, okay, that didn't work at all. Got to try some new ways. What were some of those challenges? And what do you think were some of the most fulfilling moments so far?
That's a really great question. I would say being a new writer and a composer, um, and creator of a musical, everything was a challenge. How could it not be? I didn't really have anything to go by other than being inspired by this other project and kind of using my own common sense to get through each step of the way. I think the most gratifying moment is arriving here at Rainbow Stage. This has been a 7-year journey for me, and there have been many roadblocks along the way of like times that I've wanted to quit, times that it really tested my self-belief in the project, times where I would have to fight if other people believed in me to do this. And every step of the way, I had people helping me. Of course, it's not all me. That takes a village. And I'm so thankful for Rainbow Stage for being by my side the whole way through. And I think just having this premiere production at the place where I first started my career in musical theater is truly gratifying.
Yeah. What is that term? Ma-Buhay? Right now, I can't even say. It's like community in Tagalog and Filipino. But I forget how to say it. But like, it sounds like that element as well. And we're here in Filipino Heritage Month. And I think, seeing that come together, you relying on people to create this amazing product.
Yeah. And, part of that, the creation of the project was elevating the community's talent and getting them the training that they needed. So alongside creating the musical, we had free workshops to really train the actors that you will be seeing on stage. Out of 22 actors, 20 of them are from Manitoba. And then we have an actor from Toronto and an actor from Vancouver. So the talent in Manitoba is really strong. And so it had to have been a whole community coming together in order for us to get here today.
Yes, so it's Bayanihan, I think is the correct way to say it. Or
Bayanihan,
yeah. So, I mean, it's so exciting seeing this come together. And I mean, working on it 7 years, putting the music to page, and now seeing people bringing it to life on stage. How's that experience been like for you as we're heading into those moments right before the presentation on June 27th?
I know it's cliche, but it's a true dream come true. When my good friends ask me, how's it going? People ask me in the context of like, how stressed are you? But really, I'm like, yes, the stress is there. But when you're really tapped into your life's purpose, or as they say in the Japanese culture, as I wrote in my script, ikigai, your purpose to live and why you wake up every morning, that Ma-Buhay is that for me. And so any kind of stress does not compare to the amount of joy and the level of awe that is in my head with every scene and every actor and every dancer that I'm witnessing during this process. So,
and I mean, it's going to be an inspiration for future Filipinos and other communities coming in who are seeing you create this project, a celebration of culture, heritage, and a whole group of people. Like, who's to say, like, what sort of stories will come from this in the future?
Well, I always say identification is inspiration. That's my own personal quote. And what I mean by that is that my hometown hero, my own Michael Jordan, is in the show. And her name is Ma Denisha. And she really paved the way for me when I was 10 years old. And I caught her in a documentary of her landing the lead role of Kim in the first ever Miss Saigon in Canada. And so following her footsteps for 27 years and having her say yes to this project when offered this role is really come full circle. And I truly believe that if someone sees themselves in someone that is doing something that is changing the world, then it'll inspire others like a domino effect to do the same.
When people go to see this musical, what do you think there is going to be a wow moment for them? And what do you hope they'll take away after seeing this performance?
I mean, coming from a very biased opinion, I think they're going to be wowed by everything. I honestly think I have one of the most incredible casts ever composed in a musical. We have 10 excellent triple threat dancers that are understudying the lead roles. And then we have these lead roles that are so open, so vulnerable, so incredibly talented in everything that they do, as well as actors that range from 10 years old that are having their first debut all the way to 73 years old. So I think just seeing the representation itself is going to be the wow factor. And then let's add on 15 full-on Grammy award-winning dance numbers and vocals that skyrocket to the heavens. I think that kind of level of entertainment is going to just be the full recipe of a success for when people leave. They're just going to be in awe. And what I hope that people will take away from it is that we're more alike than we think. I want people to know that as much as this is an all Filipino musical in the way that it's cast, this is not a Filipino musical just for Filipinos. This is for non-Filipinos and Filipinos alike, because the whole point is to show people how close we are as human beings. And the story is quite universal, and everything is in English. We have Tagalog scenes and songs. Whenever that pops up, we have English subtitles on the screen.
As a adopted Filipino, learning about the community and the people, it's so exciting. The culture, the love, the sense of community, the sense of family, I think is incredibly inspiring and important.
Absolutely. And in our cast, we have an abundance of family relationships. We have a husband and a wife duo in the show. My nephew's in the show as well, having his first debut. We have a sister and brother pair, and we have 3 siblings, two brothers and a sister that are all starring in this show. And so it's really, really a testament to how close or how family is really integrated in everything that Filipinos do.
This might be a little bit of a premature question to ask, but once this is all over, do you have any things that you want to take on? Has this inspired you to take on new challenges?
This is definitely not a premature question. This has been a plan that I've had since the very beginning. So the challenge in terms of Ma-Buhay is that my whole goal is to put not only Filipinos in theater on the international stage, but to put Winnipeg, Manitoba on the international stage as the first show to land on Broadway. We don't have one yet, and this is my ultimate goal. So on that race to New York City, we got to land in cities such as San Diego, even Edmonton, Calgary, Boston, Chicago. I want to go through that full gamut of that journey of workshopping this musical to perfection, so that we can see ourselves on the New York stage.
Wow, yeah, that would be incredibly exciting. Here's a production starting out in Winnipeg, now here on Broadway. And I think we're seeing a little bit of a revival in Broadway and people being excited to once again see stage performances.
Exactly. I mean, with the connection of social media these days, which is a theme that we touch up a lot on our show, using our LED screens that have been used for the very first time in theater in Rainbow Stage, I think people are a lot more connected to what's out there. And so it only takes a certain single, a song. We released our song "I'm My Own Star" starring Andrew Makasat, who just came off Broadway, originating the role of Anne Boleyn in Six the Musical. We just released that music video a couple of days ago, and the release on Spotify is just around the corner. And so we're trying to really put musical theater on the map, to show people that there's more entertainment out there, outlets out there other than the regular sports games or going to the movie theater.
Yeah, and I mean, it's always, I think, I was at the Book of Mormon performance in Winnipeg, and it's just a completely different experience to be there in the room as they're singing and dancing versus when you're just hearing. It's like, yeah, it's excited to hear these things over Spotify or the albums, but when you're in person, it is a magical experience.
And it only happens once, and that's the beauty of live theater. And so as our run opens on June 27th and closes on July 14th, that's only 18 shows. And so this is the first ever, and who knows when this will ever happen again in Winnipeg, in this beautiful theater that is the largest and longest outdoor theater company in Canada that seats 2,200 seats. We want people to come see it now, because this is the time, is to see something new now.
And you get to see it before it takes off. You're there when this thing started. I think that's an exciting moment to talk around. It's like, hey, have you heard of Ma-Buhay, a new musical? It's like, yeah, I've seen it on Broadway now. That's so exciting. It's like, hey, I was there on opening night.
Save that ticket stub, buy that merch, get it signed by me or one of the cast members. You never know how much that's going to be worth 10 years from now when we're on Broadway.
Exactly. Joseph, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. For our audience, Ma-Buhay, what is it about? Where can people see it, and when can they go see it?
So Ma-Buhay is centered around three leading players, Honey, David, and Selena, as they compete in the grand finals of a highly televised reality singing competition called Star on the Rise. It's a franchise from the Philippines that has flown all the way to Winnipeg, Manitoba to seek out new Filipinx talent because of the growing population here in the city. And they all come from different economic backgrounds. Honey comes from a poor family. She deals with fat shaming and colorism. Selena comes from a rich family in the Lindenwood and deals with body and classism and pressures from her stage mom. And David deals with his sexuality versus a strict Catholic religion. And so through this singing competition, they sing their feelings. So as they're competing in 3 rounds, we get to know their stories. The story travels from backstage to onstage, from flashbacks to present moment. And where they can see this is at Rainbow Stage, which is at the heart of Kildonan Park. And in order to buy tickets, they could go to www.rainbowstage.ca. You could also buy them on the phone number on the website, as well as in person at the box office in the park.
I can't wait. I am so excited for this.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been so fun.
Have any stories you'd like us to share or communities we should highlight? Leave a comment on our social media or reach out to us on our website. I'm Ryan Funk. This was You Talk, and have yourself a good one.